Hello everyone, it's Olariwaju here, and this is the TUXtra Sound On campaign. We're doing an audio interview with the station manager at TUXtra Radio today, and we're going to be asking some questions, basically telling you guys some of the things that you probably did not know already. So please introduce yourself to us.
Hello, my name is Helen Lumsdon. I'm the station manager at TUXtra Radio.
Oh, nice. Thank you for being here today, Helen. It's a great one because we've been on this for a while now. If you remember, it's the time constraint has been really problematic, if I would say. We're just going to be asking some questions, telling the listeners, informing the listeners some of the things that they probably didn't know about TUXtra Radio. And I'm just going to go right into it and just ask some questions that I have written down, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
All right, then. If you could tell us a bit about TUXtra Radio and its mission, its vision, anything that you think it's like the history of TUXtra Radio, we just want to know.
Okay, so TUXtra Radio has been around for a while. I believe it was actually called Click Radio before it was TUXtra. And then unfortunately, when COVID-19 hit, I don't know the full story, but it kind of went off air for some reasons, and never really got back on air until last October.
Wow.
So October 2023, there was a team of us that got together and decided, right, we want the radio to be back on, so let's do it. So there's Jim, who's operations manager, Lance, Julian, Mark McGurrin, and myself.
Yeah.
We kind of put everything together, and there was a lot of paperwork to do, a lot of sort of legal compliance issues, licensing, things like that, and then we pressed the on air button back in October last year, and we haven't looked back since. So that's how we kind of came to be again.
Right. That makes sense. I think I've met Jim once. He tutored us. He was one of my module leaders for semester 2, I think. Yeah, he's a great guy. He really helped us achieve some great marks in the course. Yeah.
So Jim's senior lecturer in journalism, or maybe digital media. Might have to double check his actual title, but yeah.
Right. Okay. We're gonna do that definitely. So, what would you say is TUXtra Radio's contribution to Teesside University as a community?
Well, first and foremost, we are actually like a teaching and learning platform, you might call it, a facility for sort of development of broadcasting, podcasting, audio journalism, and then alongside that, our mission is to support everything that is going on in Teesside University, to champion the work that our students do, and to actually support our local community as well. So the ways in which we do that for the local community is highlighting musicians, artists, campaigns that are going on around in the Teesside area, and shining a spotlight on that.
That's amazing. I mean, that's some good work. It's amazing to see a platform run by students contribute so much to the Teesside community. It's a great one, and hopefully someday I'm also going to be part of this esteemed establishment. So can you share some of the key achievements? I mean, there are going to be achievements, of course, because you said TUXtra came back on air last October, right? So from that moment till now, there must have been some achievements, some milestones that has been achieved. If you could share some of those with us, we would really like to know about that.
Absolutely. So, the biggest one was getting everything in place so that we could press the button and turn the faders up and go back on air. So that was the biggest thing, and that, like I mentioned earlier, it was to do with licensing and compliance and just making sure that we were doing everything correctly, that we were doing things by the book and at a level which would set us in a good place for moving forwards.
Right.
Getting enough music on the system as well to have a playlist that that could be on.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, it took a long time because we didn't really have much to start with.
Yeah.
And we had quite a small budget as well. It's not as easy as you think. There's a lot of rules that go into it of what you can and can't play and when you can play it and so on. So that actually took me a lot of time. And I had to, I had to learn the system myself from scratch as well. So actually getting back on air was a huge thing for us. But a big milestone. And the next thing was actually then to broadcast. So we set a target of pre-recorded broadcasts by, I think it's the end of October. So that involved working, and I must give them a shout out, the Teesside University Students' Union Podcast Society.
Right, go ahead.
So we worked alongside those guys from the get-go last year. And they're fantastic. So they were working away every week, doing podcasts with lots of different guests and really interesting content that they had there. Then we would work together, get it edited, mixed down and ready for broadcast. And they were the first things that we broadcasted, actually.
Nice.
So although we weren't maybe in the position to broadcast live at that point, we had pre-recorded content, and that's how that was like that stepping stone. And then our next target was to broadcast live by the end of the first semester, which we did. We beat that target. So those were like the main kind of initial milestones.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's awesome. Like you said, the whole process of working with the podcast society and getting things back working and all, that's great. I wanted to just ask again if you said you've worked because in your explanation you mentioned learning some of the technical side of it, and I mean that must have taught you some things. So if you could just share some growth, or let me say skills that you've learned from being the station manager here at TUXtra Radio.
Yeah,
things that's helped you personally, professionally.
It's been a huge learning curve, but a really, really positive one. So I and I'm not joking. I think I've learned more this year than I've ever learned in my life. I came into this with no experience in radio at all. I come from a music background, so I'm a musician. I was a music teacher. I was a school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a school teacher for many years.
Wow.
And I had some experience with music production because I used to teach that. I had a little bit of experience with like creative media, but as I said, nothing in actual live radio. But I did very much on my because I'm digital media course. I very much enjoyed the audio side of it, the audio journalism, the podcasting, and I really, really wanted to build those skills. So coming here, I've had to learn how to develop all of that using industry standard software. So obviously we're in Adobe Campus. So learning the ins and outs of Adobe Audition, learning the ins and outs of the broadcasting system. So we have a system called Myriad, which it's similar to other systems, but it has its quirks. And there were a few little issues to start with.
Is that the one that is used to create the clocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lance showed me that one.
Yeah, don't talk to me about the clocks. No, I quite like the clocks now. Now I know how to do it. But we didn't really have anyone, Lance is fantastic. Lance has shown me loads of things, but it's not really his job.
Yeah.
So I've had to kind of learn it all myself through just like YouTube tutorials, and then ringing the company and say like, I think this is broken. Help me to fix it, and so on. So the kind of technical side of it, yeah, massively. The licensing, like learning how music licensing works.
That's a huge one.
It's a huge thing. Compliance, Ofcom compliance. We're not DAB yet, so we're not technically ruled by Ofcom, but we felt at the beginning that would be a really, really good level to be at if we made sure that everyone that goes on air is abiding by the Ofcom broadcasting rules. So that was a huge thing. And then just as time's gone on, just like honing my craft, getting better at audio production, learning more about how to put a radio show together. And I've been really fortunate because I've been going to Spark at Sunderland and working with them, and I cannot thank them enough for everything that they've done to help me. So continually just improving.
Learning and improving.
Yeah.
That's spot on. That's great. You also you didn't mention the SRA.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that that's one of the biggest milestones for TUXtra Radio. Could you shed some light on that for us?
I've forgotten about that. So the SRA, if you're not sure, is the Student Radio Association. We joined them, actually we didn't join them until I think it was March of this year, but we've been involved with them since sort of back like September, October time last year. And they're amazing because they're an organisation that the sole point of them is to support student radio and to champion student radio, and they've done a lot for us. So we joined them, and then we were fortunate enough to go to the Student Radio Conference, which was in Leeds, and that was in April. There was just a few of us that went. There was myself, there was Sarah Alvey, who at the time was our assistant manager. Melissa Wade, our newsreader, and Ben Sedgwick, who's one of our sports presenters. And it was a 3-day conference. It was amazing. We learnt so much from that, and I think actually going to that has made a huge impact on the station output.
Right.
Hopefully next year, we can take more people to it. And we've also entered for 5 student radio awards.
Wow.
They're going to be held in November, so we don't know who's shortlisted yet.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed.
We keep our fingers crossed for that one. Yeah. That's really great. That's amazing to hear some of the achievements that TUXtra Radio has reached. If you're listening out there and like Helen said, she's been learning. If you know this is something that interests you, you want to learn, I think this is the place to be. So moving on with the questions, Helen, I hope you're not tired or bored out with my questions yet.
Not at all.
All right, good. So do you think if students want to get involved with TUXtra Radio, how would you say, either as listeners or contributors, say probably they have a content idea they want to push out there, what would be the best way to reach out or contact something
the first thing probably to do is to email us, which is studentradio@tuxtra.co.uk, or give us a message on Instagram, which is TU_extra on Instagram, or come and visit us. There's usually someone around in the studios. We're located in the I'll start that sentence again. We are located in the Students' Union building on the first floor, and we're opposite the SU Student Support Offices, so you can't really miss us. We have 2 studios, and like I said, there's usually someone around to talk to. So if you are interested in joining us, if you've got content ideas, come and see us, and then we can chat about them. I can give you a production sheet, and we can take it from there.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I think myself, I'm going to be taking that up and sharing some content ideas that I might have, because I have passion for broadcasting, and I would really want to go into that. Like every other organization, there must have been challenges that you faced. Could you share some challenges you faced as the manager here, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for us, because we were kind of new, starting again after several years of dormancy, just recruiting people, and people that genuinely wanted to do radio. I think sometimes people get radio and podcasting slightly mixed up. But radio is actually... I got some stats. I wish I had the actual figures in front of me. I can find them for you. But live radio is actually, how could I explain it? It is more listened to than podcasting, even though podcasting is very popular. Even in an age range between like 18 to 30, radio is still more listened to. So anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent there, but recruitment of people that are really interested in it and are kind of in it for the long haul as well. Because, you know, if you're going to sign up to do a show, you're not just going to do it for like 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to do it on a long term. And it does take a lot of work. It's a lot of planning, but it's so rewarding.
It is.
So we did a bit of a recruitment drive, and we've done that through, you know, student union fairs, like freshers fair and then refreshers. We've done that through some of the undergraduate and the postgraduate courses as well. So going to talk to people, and open days as well. So for new students, so new people coming in as well. And it's made a huge difference because we've got a really strong team now. We're a small team, but we're strong and we're diverse as well. So moving into next academic year, it's like we're at a good point. We're at a good we're in a good situation so that we can move forward and, you know, build on that.
That's great. If you were going to, you know, advise students who want to who are considering starting their own show, what would your advice be to them?
Go for it. I mean, radio is so diverse in what you can put out there. It doesn't have to just be like a generic music show, you know, like an afternoon show. It doesn't have to be that. And it doesn't have to be like all singing, all dancing, funny, hilarious stuff. There's a place for that, and that's fine. And, you know, if that's your thing, that's great. But you might have an idea for something a bit more specialist, a bit more niche. And that's great because, you know, there's gonna be an audience out there for you. You know, something a little bit more specific. So if you've got an idea and you think, oh, I'd love to try and take that to radio, I'd love to hear from you. But it's the good thing about student radio is you've got a massive opportunity. You've got all of this industry standard equipment here. You've got people that can support you, so you can try out your ideas. If you've got a new idea that you're not sure if it's going to work, come and see us and try it out, because you're never going to know till you try. So I think just go for it. You'll love it.
Yeah, you will. And in the words of Ebuka, if I might, in the interview we did with Ebuka, he also said, just be yourself and go for it. Just do it.
Yeah, you've got nothing to lose with radio. You might be a bit nervous to start with. If presenting is the thing that you want to do, you might find it a little bit nerve-wracking to start with, but that's a good thing, because, you know, you're going to be at your best, and you'll get used to it, and you'll develop your skills. And, you know, a lot of the volunteers that have been here this year that have been broadcasting, the first couple of shows might not have been amazing, but they've soon picked it up and improved their skills massively, and they're going in for awards. I mean, you really haven't got anything to lose. It's an amazing experience, and you'll meet so many people as well. You'll meet people that you share interests with, that you get on with, that you kind of get each other. There's communications.
Communication.
I'll say that one again because I said that wrong. Communication skills. You know, finding different ways to say things. Humor, possibly. All of the research, you learn so much about your topic as well, because you're constantly researching it. I just think there's so many good things about broadcasting. And then if you are interested in like the podcasting side of it as well, that's fantastic, because, you know, you can join the Podcast Society.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
And we also, you know, we like to kind of champion pre-recorded content as well here. I mean, that's how we started. So, you know, if you're into doing like an audio documentary or something, bring your ideas to us, because we'd love to work with you on that and put it out on the air. Yeah.
Did you hear that, guys? Anything that you think might work, just bring it on to TUXtra Radio, and there will be something for you. Thank you very much, Helen, for the interview. I think this is going to be the end of the interview.
Well, thank you. No, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here as well. Just the last word. If you're ready, if you wish to start something of your own on TUXtra Radio, just like Helen said, you can send an email to studentradio@tuxtra.co.uk, or you can send them a message on Instagram at @tu_xtra. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. This is Olarewaju again, and I've been here with Helen Lumsdon, the station manager at TUXtra Radio. See you guys next time. We're going to talk in the future. Bye.